Do you use an Android phone? Odds are you don't, even if you think you do. And that's the key to Android's biggest weakness. One of the biggest reasons for Android's massive success that has brought it to command nearly 80% of the smartphone market is its relatively open nature, allowing any manufacturer to produce an Android-based device without having to pay Google licensing fees, and being able to adapt the OS in whatever way they like. This has led basically every major Android device manufacturer to heavily customize the OS with their own UI, look and feel, and additional software, all of which have varying degrees of usefulness. Unfortunately, this also means that the OS you're using on your Samsung or LG phone isn't actually Android anymore. It's what Google refers to as Android-based. Because while it has all the functions of Android, Android itself begins and ends with what Google ships on its Nexus devices. As soon as you tweak that, you've essentially forked Android into something else, and Google has no way, and more damningly, no obligation, to provide updates for that software. The concept of allowing Android-based devices is what has fractured Android's install base so massively, because so few users are running actual Android. Everyone who is indeed does get updates from Google in a relatively timely manner, but for the rest of us, running customized forks of Android tied into manufacturer customizations, carrier restrictions, and helpful software additions lead to a whole slew of obstacles preventing Google from being able to keep these phones up to date. Hence a landscape where KitKat is the most widely used version of Android, at the time of this writing at least, despite being almost 2 years old. This fragmentation has huge rippling effects on the Android ecosystem as well, as it becomes increasingly difficult to develop applications if new features and APIs are only available to a select few in the Android world, forcing devs to test against years of software versions and dozens of manufacturer variations. There's no baseline for what Android is going to be, both in terms of hardware and software, and for a developer, especially small devs that are so common in the mobile app space, that's a nightmare. Android's open nature may be its biggest asset for becoming so widely adopted in the market, and indeed continues to be so today as more and more small vendors get into the handset game, but for the end user, Android's inability to provide some baseline limits for what it is continues to be its biggest weakness. I'm Tom Oliver, and this has been 3 Minute Tech, technology discussion without the bullshit. Like this video if you thought it was good, and subscribe if you want to see more like it.